I want to tell you about a very interesting meditation experience that's literally one of the toughest, most extreme things you can do in this day and age, spiritual retreat. It involves 10 days of being in complete silence. It's over 100 hours of meditation. You only eat a vegetarian meal twice a day at 6 a.m., at 11 a.m. You don't talk at all. There's no phones, nothing to read, nothing to write with. Basically, you just meditate 10 hours a day. You eat, sleep, and there's, a few break periods where you can like walk and stuff. And that's pretty much it. And it's a technique that makes you really focused. It increases your willpower a lot. It makes you more equanimous. You are emotionally way more balanced. You're more capable of dealing with ups and downs of daily life. And if you believe in that thing, it's also something that could ultimately bring you to full liberation in the Buddhist tradition, let's say. And the craziest thing is that this is all completely free. You can join one of the courses in, I think, 200 or something centers all over the world in, I don't know, 100 plus countries or something, like many, many places, completely free. And the craziest thing is only, I think, 0.03% of the general population did it. So about one person in 3 or 4,000. It's mind-boggling to me. So I want to talk a bit about it, what it is, because I do genuinely believe it can do a lot of good. Okay, it made a lot of positive effects in my life for me, and I want to share and maybe help somebody else get that. My name is Bostian. This channel is Boss Life Hacks. I haven't posted anything in, I think, 10 years. I'm not doing YouTube. I'm not doing content. I run several businesses. So this video is not aimed to make any money. I don't care about, whether you subscribe or not. This is just really to share some beneficial information in this pure and pure spirit of Dhamma, right? So, without further ado, let's look at the timetable first. You wake up at 4 a.m. Is the wake up bell, and then you basically meditate for 2 hours. And then there's breakfast and little rest. I usually squeezed in a little bit, like 20 minutes of sleep after that, if I could. Then there's an hour of group meditation, and then there's 2 more hours of meditation, and then there's lunch plus small break. And in the break, you can have the teacher interview, meaning if you have a question, you get 5 minutes with the teacher if you need to. I went 3 times on this last course. By the way, this course was my fourth course. So I've done the first one in Lithuania in around 2015. Then a few years later, I did one in Paris. And then in 2020, I did the third one in Myanmar. And then the last one, I literally came back today. So I really wanted to record it. Oh, here's my face. Meditation, then lunch, either break or teacher interview, then another 1.5 hour meditation, another 1 hour meditation, another 1.5 hour meditation, break for an hour. If you're a new student, right, if it's your first course, you can have fruit, otherwise just lemon water. More meditation. There's a 1 hour discourse every day. So 1 hour of, like, let's say, training videos on how to apply the technique better. A little bit more of meditation, and then finish, right? Intense, really, really intense schedule. And look, if you've ever tried meditating, whether you used Headspace or some other form, you know that even sitting down for 15 minutes and trying to focus on meditation, breath, or whatever is a long time. 10 hours a day, it is mental. It's mental. It gets painful at times. But this is also why I think it gives such beautiful results, right? So when you come there, even before you come, they ask you several times, when you apply for the first time, they say, it's very important that you stay the whole duration. You can't just leave in the middle, Are you sure you're able to do this? Are you sure you're able to abide by the code of conduct? Are you sure you can do it? And you say, yes, yes. And then a few days or just before the event, you get another email. Please reconfirm. Are you sure? Are you really sure? Can you confirm? Can you commit? Yes, yes. Then you come. and you fill out this questionnaire on day zero, right? And again, they say, "Are you sure?" You have to put your emergency contact and all that. And then just before the course starts, there's the intro talk, and again they say, "Look, are you sure?" And this is actually very important because you do feel like running away. You do feel like running away on, day two, day three, day four, day six. It depends, right? Different experiences. Some people don't feel like that. In this fourth course, I didn't feel like really running away, but I did struggle around day 6 to 8. It was really difficult. But on the first course, I wanted to run away on day 4, I think. And on the second one, I don't remember that well. And on the third one, I also struggled. Um, so look, essentially the technique is very easy. Okay, there's no, it's not rocket science. Like for 3 days, you just do anapana. Anapana is just paying attention to your breath. You just, close your eyes, you sit in any position that's comfortable for you. You have some meditation mats and, like little things to sit on, cushions or whatever. And then you just meditate, right? And you literally just observe the breath go in through nose and then go out, in, out. And that's it. And then, of course, after 10 seconds, your mind goes away. And it's like, oh, what about dinner? There's no dinner. Or what about this girl? Or whatever, right? Like, what about this problem? And then you just bring attention back and then you repeat, and already on the first day you do 10 hours of this. That's a lot. Like you get tired, you get physically tired from sitting, but your mind gets tired. You know how when you have a long day at work or maybe you're at school, at university, like how you after a while, like you lose the brain power, like you can't process anymore. Like it's kind of like that. You're dead in the brain, but you still keep going, right? Because the point is, right, to really observe just the natural breath. You don't try to control the breath, you don't do any techniques, just observe the breath exactly how it is from one nostril. Like if it goes through left or right, it doesn't matter. If it's shallow, it's shallow. If it's deep, it's deep. It really doesn't matter, right? um, you're just supposed to observe. Vipassana means to see things as they really are. This is the pre-preparation for the actual technique of meditation of Vipassana. So you just observe the breath, and the goal of this is to sharpen your mind, right? Is to get that willpower and that focus, because later on when you do Vipassana, which is body scans, you need that focus. Otherwise, you just get lost, and you really need to build that focus. And what you start doing on the, I think, second part of the second day or towards the end of the 3-day anapana period, let's say, you start actually at the same time as you observe the breath, you start also paying attention to sensations around this area. And this means literal body sensations, right? Like at some point you actually start feeling how the air when you breathe out is colder, and it's warmer, right? Because it gets heated inside. And when you breathe in, you feel like the like colder airflow going in, right? Like you become so sensitive because you sharpen your mind, and you get so much attention that you literally can feel these sensations, right? And then this is basically what you start doing on day 4. So you've sharpened your mind, and then basically the whole technique of Vipassana, which you continue till the 10th day, is you just go from area to area of your body, and you literally do body scans, right? You do body scans. Yeah, I'm thinking the video works. Hope so. And you do body scans, and it's really that's really all there is to it. The whole point though is you're not supposed to react. For example, you scan your head, and you feel some itch or heat or pressure or tickling or like whatever you feel, and you're just like, okay, I feel that, and you move on, maybe to the side of the head or neck or shoulder or what, and you feel, oh, shoulder, it's feels like an ant crawling, or like there's some pressure, or it feels like a little bit painful, or it feels tight, or it feels, pulsing a little bit, right? Like whatever it is, you're not trying to make anything up. You literally just observe the normal physical sensations of the body, like sometimes you feel your heart, like you just observe what is there, right? And The whole point of the meditation, of the technique, is to observe and then move on. Whatever it is, observe and move on. Because what you learn, and through these courses they help you understand that, and what you learn through this practice is that all of these bodily sensations, they change, right? For example, maybe you sit and it starts to itch. It itches real bad. Man, you wanna scratch, you wanna scratch. It's painful how much it itches, right? And you don't scratch. You're like, no, I said no. I'll just observe for a moment and then move on, move on, move on. And then maybe when you come to the second circle, of course, if your brain doesn't freaking swim away again, right? When you come to the second circle or the third circle, the itch is gone. It stops itching. Like it just dissolved. There's no more itch, right? And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Similarly with pain, right? When you sit many hours a day, like the back starts to hurt and you're like, fuck, this is pain. You sweat. And then for a few circles, like this pain in the back is intense. But then after a while, or sometimes on the next day, it gets better. And you're like, oh, okay, this is also changing. It's not permanent, right? So this is literally all you do, right? And then the whole technique, well, I mean, it's gonna be really hard to explain everything in this short video, but let's say that the whole point, like the whole Buddhist, but really all other or most other religions, like they teach, that the way out of the suffering, because suffering is universal, everybody suffers, right? Even if you're super rich, like you still have like bad stuff that happens to you, or you have good things that don't happen, right? All of that stuff, right? And what you're trying to do and what everybody was teaching is don't get attached to that, right? Don't want to become a millionaire, because then if you don't, you just are miserable. Oh, I'm not a millionaire. Duh. Or if you are a millionaire and you're like, I'm so happy, I'm so smart, I have so much money, and then something happens and you lose it again, miserable, right? Or similarly in relationships, right? When a dear and a loved one dies, or you finish the relationship, it's painful. It is, right? And it's the human condition, right? Pain and misery is all around. It's universal, it's everywhere. So what they teach is if you get less attached, then the less you're attached, the less miserable you are, because you are less affected in a way. And one thing that I really struggled with was, I thought, well, then life becomes boring and it's blank and there's no passion, there's no energy, you're just like a freaking salad, like a vegetable, right? But it's not exactly like this, and you learn later on. It's not like, right, you can't get happy, or it's just something good happens to you and you get happy, and you're just also realizing that this also will change at some point, so then later when it does change, you're not so depressed about it. Now the cool part is this, that in most religions there is no technique when you can train that. They just tell you, like I'm telling you now intellectually, but at the course for 10 hours a day you practice this in your body. Like you literally see, and you mostly feel a lot of pains initially when you see it, but after a while you can get pleasant feelings too, like you feel some vibration, and not like some mystical vibration. You literally just feel like a buzz, similar to when you get goosebumps, kind of like that, but it feels nice, or center point of the body or something. And it's nice. You're like, ooh. But then after a while, or eventually, it goes away and there's again some pain or something. Well, fuck, even the good stuff goes away, right? It's not just bad stuff, everything, right? So you literally start learning that, right? You start learning that on an actual level. And then what's kind of cool is that they also actually notice the chain, the link, the chain of events, right? It's not that you want, let's say, a car, right? A nice car. Because when you have a nice car, you then want an even nicer car, right? And then an even nicer car, right? You're actually, the craving is the thing, right? I want more, I want better, I want a nicer car. So what happens is when you get a nice car, most people don't realize it. If you don't train this, you don't realize it. But before you get the car, or at the time of getting a car, even when you think about getting the car, this sensation trigger in the body, and you start feeling good when you think about the car. You're like, oh, that car, it's gonna get me so much, you know, it's so fast and so beautiful, and people will think so good of me, right? All these great feelings start coming, right? And then you get the car, but then you are still addicted to the craving, and then you just crave the next thing. Like, you've noticed this probably in your life or in the life of somebody else. I've noticed this in business, and I can't freaking understand how some person makes a shit ton of money, like millions of dollars, and could live super comfortably. You have enough money for everything, and they're like, I want more. You know, I want more. Yeah, like I want to come to 100 million or a billion. Like, some guy years ago was like, put on his Facebook, you know, by 2030 I will be a billionaire or something. And now I think the guy disappeared from the internet, and I don't know what happened with him. But that's not the point, you know. Like, I'm like, what are you gonna do with all that money, you know? Unless you have like a real goal, like, I don't know, I'm gonna help all these people, or I'm gonna build a school, or like, you don't need that money. That's so dumb. It's so dumb. So anyway, right? It is this addiction of craving, right? And besides craving, attachment, and, you know, to like fear, you know, aversion, right? Like something unwanted happening, you know. What if, you know, they talk bad about me? What if, you know, the house that I built, something happened? Like, you can have aversion and, you know, attachments of pretty, it's different for everybody, right? But the point is, unwanted things happen in life, and things that you want don't happen. And frequently that is the case. And the only way to really deal with that is to take it easy, to kind of chill, to just observe what happens, and not, you know, do too much, not get triggered by it, not start crying for days and end, oh, this car, and I don't have the car, because that's not gonna help. You're just getting more spiraled, right? So anyway, that's the basics about the technique. It's really brutal. I mean, you know, the hunger element is kind of crazy. I really didn't sleep a lot, you know, because sure, you're super tired, but you go to bed and it's 10 p.m. and your brain is drained, and but your belly is rumbling because last time you ate was like 10 hours ago or 11, and you can't sleep that well. But then anyway, at 4 a.m. you get up and the whole spiel starts again, and it's just intense. It's very, very intense. On the other hand, after a few days you realize, hey, I cannot eat or just eat very little. And, you know, I go to the gym. I like to have a lot of meat and protein, and there was barely any protein in this vegetarian food. And I was like, fine, you know, sure, I missed it and my body felt weaker, but I was okay, you know. I lost some weight, and it's fine, you know. This is, by the way, I have this massive beard now, and I need to get a haircut. But right, so I they didn't exactly, well, they mentioned why it's so disciplinarian. It's kind of like a prison slash monastery, you know. But I think this also helps, because this stoicism or asceticism, just living in harsh environment for a while just shows you how much you actually can handle, and how much you can do in non-perfect circumstances, and you can actually be quite fine with it, right? um a few other things that happen beside, because really when you train this, and then after, hopefully you continue with daily sittings or whatever, like you see, and I've seen this. I wanted to talk a little bit about the special parts of experience that I had there, and then we'll slowly wrap this up. So um besides just really getting super focused with your mind and really sharp, and you can, like, literally, like today, I think I slept 3.5 hours, and I had a nap a few hours ago, like half an hour nap, maybe 40 minutes. And I'm fine. I'm not that tired. I'll go to the gym later. Sure, I'll go to bed earlier today. But it's impressive. Like, you're focused, you know. Before I would be like, ah, no, I'm tired, I need to go rest, or I'm lazy, I need to see a Netflix series. And it doesn't mean I'll stop watching Netflix, right? It just like you just get conditioned. Like you're pretty badass. I remember after the last course in 2020, I think it was my second or third year in the agency that I run, Hustler Marketing, and we had a pretty bad thing happen over that. I went over Christmas and New Year's, right, in Myanmar, as I said. I come back and I think like a third of the team, we were 20 or something around that time. A third of the team left, like quit, and we lost like a bunch of clients. And it was a shit show, you know. And some of the top managers were freaking out. What are we gonna do? Ah! And I come back super zen, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. Like these two shall pass. It's fine, guys. We got it. You know, turned it around, kept growing. Like it's and look, these effects, or you know, this lasts for a few months and then slowly degrades. You know, because of course you don't maintain that level of discipline in your daily life. You know, even if you meditate once or twice a day for an hour. I just did 1 hour sitting before. And by the way, you're able to just sit still for an hour. Easy, easy, right? Those in the schedule, when you saw the 1 hour slots, three a day after day four, when you start Vipassana, they call them aditana, which is sitting of strong determination, which means you sit, you whatever, in whichever position you feel comfortable. And then for 1 hour, you're not supposed to open your eyes, open your arms, or move your legs, right? So you just sit still for 1 hour. And so this happened like almost 30 times during these 10 days, right? And I did it. I think only one time I moved because I used an earplug because the guy next to me was breathing crazy loud. And you're also trying to build tolerance and whatever. But anyway, right? So able to do this. And most people are able to do this, you know, with some training. You sit still. It's crazy. It's really crazy what happens when you train a little bit, right? So besides these benefits, you also see how your mind quiets down. Like by the time of day three, day four, your mind really quiets down by quite a lot. And then I saw some, let's say, past emotional traumas come up. I won't go into detail because it's personal, but a few relationships, you know, something in the family, you know, some intimate relationships and stuff came out, what I was able to reflect and see, okay, maybe I did that wrong, or maybe this was not the way it was supposed to be, or because, yeah, it's just a space where you're preoccupied. I think, well, at least they explain that's how it works. And I guess I kind of agree because I've been doing psychotherapy for like 6 years now, weekly. And I'm processing a lot of that stuff. So I think I know quite a lot about my internal world, but there somehow, because you keep your mind so balanced and you just work on this sensation and training and whatever happens, right, that all this stuff starts to come up, right? It starts to come up almost like all the unresolved stuff. And then with that state of mind, you can kind of resolve it better because you see it in a new light, you know. Before you were hurt and you think it was the other person's fault, and now it comes to this state of mind where you're like, look, everybody's just trying to do the best. There's misery everywhere. And look, this person did whatever. And sure, it hurt me, but that happens in life. Like you get hurt, you know, like people are ignorant and they just do stuff. Sometimes it's not even people, it's the circumstance, like a natural disaster, and you get hurt. And like the only option that you have is actually to, how much are you bothered by it, you know? Do you let your whole life spiral and you get depressive and you don't get out of the bed for months and you start taking pills? Or you're like, yeah, this sucks, I really don't like this, you know, but this too shall pass and let's move on. Let's continue somehow, you know, however you can, right? So anyway, this is one part. I did mention the troubles of sleeping, and on the 10th day when you can start talking again. Oh yeah, by the way, you don't talk, right? I did mention that in the beginning. For me, the not talking was not even difficult. I actually enjoy it. You don't have any phones and stuff. It's great. On the 10th day you talk and you get to talk to people, and man, the people there have such crazy stories. It's really cool to hear, you know, all these people that travel India and East and joined ashrams, and one guy changed his name, you know, like in some ashram with some Indian guru, and then you have some business guys, right, that like run fucking businesses. I met this like travel agency person, like you know, like all this cool stuff, and the travelers, and you know, and most of the times people are really kind, you know, really kind. You train on 10th day, you also train a little bit in metta, which is the third technique they teach you, which is loving kindness, just compassion for everybody, because you're like, look, misery is everywhere, shit happens to everybody, it sucks, and we're all pretty much fucked, so why not show a little compassion when you can, you know, like, and you try to send out the good vibrations and all that. So yeah, honestly, I think that's about all. Probably this video didn't turn out exactly as I thought it's gonna be in my head, but look, if you took the time to watch this, I highly recommend you to at least check the website, dama with double m dot org, right? Have a look, see what it is, see what it writes. If it calls you, think about giving it a trial. You know, it's just 10 days of your life, you can get vacation, you know, and even if you never ever meditate after that, like, it's still gonna be experience, if nothing else, to see what your body can do, what your mind can do. And you know, you're completely sober, there's no intoxicant, there's no drugs, you know, they teach the life of morality, you know, they're like, don't harm any living being while you're there. It's very wholesome, you know. I think, shit, if everybody did this at least once, wow, the world would be a much better place, a much better place, trust me on that. So yeah, it is really my volition that you know, that this goes out, that some people see it, and maybe it helps you decide to try this out. If it does, let me know, I'll be very happy. Even if one person said, hey, you know, Bustian, this video helped me, and I went and I did the course and it brought me so many benefits, then it was worth it. It was freaking worth it. And that's it. I don't know if there's gonna be any more videos on the channel. Let's see. Thanks for your attention and have a really nice day. Take care.